Welcome to the SRP Contract Summary presentation. I am Christopher Siller, USEP South Central Business Representative and Chief Negotiator for the 2020-2021 SRP Contract Negotiations. Due to the recent spike in COVID cases, USEP leadership has opted to present this year's contractual highlights virtually. Funding comparison. As you can see, from 2014 up to now, state funding has increased from $472 million to just over $603 million, which is an estimated $125 million increase over that time span. However, when you look at the local funding, it has fluctuated between around $120 million up to $143 million. This year's local funding is around $112 million, which appears to be a bit less than prior years. Over the past year, state funding has increased by over $30 million. Our state legislator eliminated the Best and Brightest program and created a new categorical called Teacher Salary Allocation, or TSA. This was created to provide money to increase teacher salaries statewide to a minimum of $47,500. The FRS rate increased from 8.47% to 10% at a cost to the district of $4.9 million. $1.2 million of those FRS contributions were for SRP alone. Health insurance contributions of $153.89 per employee yearly was increased by the district to maintain a fully paid district plan. In years 2008 through 2012, Pasco County funding dropped by $56 million. However, now it has increased each year up to $603 million this year. This is largely due to increasing student enrollment and not additional funding from the state. This increase in funding was also due to the governor pushing a $500 million legislative bill to increase the starting salary for all teachers to $47,500. Unfortunately for SRP, there was no additional funding for non-instructional employees. State funding increased for the seventh time in 8 years and did increase to adjust all teacher salary in Pasco County. Best and Brightest program. This plan was eliminated and a new categorical for teacher salaries was created. The governor wanted to see statewide $47,500 salary for teachers. Teacher salary allocation. This was the governor's plan, which dedicated $500 million statewide to enable the districts to be able to give a $47,500 increase. However, this increase only covered classroom teachers and certified pre-K teachers. There was no money allocated for school-related personnel and other staff outside of classroom teachers and certified pre-K teachers. Other financial obligations. The FRS rate, the Florida Retirement System rate, increased 1.53%. Began at 8.47% and increased to 10%, which was a cost of about $4.9 million to the district. Charter school enrollment increased their costs to the district of about $9.5 million. This was money that flowed through the district to charter schools that was not available for bargaining to put extra money in Pasco County employees' pockets. Superintendent publicly stated his intention to provide a 1.5% salary increase to all employees. As a USEP representative, we did feel that that was not a strong start at all. We wanted to see a much higher start from our district staff. There were district budgetary carryovers of $3.4 million that would help fund objectives, as well as an additional $3.8 million in savings from reduced services due to the pandemic. So again, school services that were shut down early in the previous school year, last year in March. We know there was a shutdown due to the ongoing pandemic. Schools were closed. services were cut, and there was savings that was carried over. So again, we had to figure those line items out and figure out the best way that we could pass along that money to folks who need to get raises. Utility and other operational expenses were not yet estimated by the district. District union position. Both the district and union battled through a long impasse process in years 2016 through 17, and again for teachers in 2018 through 19. A good settlement was reached in the 1920 school year, and the parties for this year did not consider impasse. The district clearly intended to comply with the state law to increase classroom and certified pre-K teachers to $47,500, which is the new state goal. SRP economics. There was no new money for SRP this year from the state. I will say that again. There was no new money for SRP this year from the state. Both the district and union agreed to attempt to utilize carryover money and savings from the pandemic to provide respectable raises to our SRP. Both the district and union met regularly with the Health Insurance Committee to review utilization of health care plans and overall costs heading into the 2021 calendar year. The district will cover the $153 annual increase to continue with a fully paid plan. Both parties were interested in providing real raises for employees. Moving forward, union reps met with district staff, senior staff regarding the budget on several occasions. We discussed the carryover of funds from 19 to 20, which estimated around $3.4 million. The superintendent publicly budgeted for a 1.5 to 2% raise for SRP, NMB, and admin while using most of the state funding to comply with the new salary requirements. So again, there was going to be minimal money that was left over if all of the teachers were able to get to $47,500. USEP agrees with the state requirement, but we also wanted to push the limit to find money for SRP to receive fair increases this year. You know, again, we represent both instructional and non-instructional, and our goal was to see it to that again, that $500 million that was divvied up throughout the state, you know, as it relates to Pasco County, the monies that we received, we wanted to ensure that, you know, our teachers were raised, but we also wanted raises for our SRP. Best and Brightest program, which was eliminated to establish the new teacher salary allocation per state law. The district and USEP did acknowledge savings from reduced school operations due to the pandemic. USEP continued to push for a non-contribution health insurance plan, and I'm thankful that we were successful in maintaining this option for the 2021 calendar year. Since June of 2020, both parties met at least 8 times to discuss contract concerns. The return to school memorandum was signed in October 2020 after numerous discussions and negotiations. This MOU provided numerous safety and health provisions for all SRP, including additional paid sick time connected to work-related COVID exposures. A financial settlement was reached on January 11th of 2021. Our ratification process is now underway. Contract voting will take place on Tuesday, February 16th. Salary increases will be in employees' paychecks by the end of February 2021, and retroactive dollars will be in paychecks by the end of March 2021. Economic settlement. The salary increase of 3% to the base salary of all eligible SRP is what was agreed upon by both the district and USCP. Reclassification of all job categories in SGO2 to SGO3, which will ensure all SRP are paid at a minimum rate of $10 per hour. So what's happening with that is all the folks who are at an SGO2 will now be moved to an SGO3, which will now bring the minimum wage up to $10 an hour. There's a state mandate for each district to begin paying $10 an hour for folks, and that mandate has to be met by September of 2021. During negotiations, it was important to both the union and the district to, if possible, to begin this early. Parties agreed, and we are proud to say that folks will be moved immediately from SGO2 to SGO3 and will begin to enjoy those increases upon ratification of this contract. Minimum wage increase. Approximately 450 SRP will be moved to an hourly rate of at least $10 an hour. This complies again with the new state law that's being implemented over 1 year in advance of the new state required deadline of September 1 of 2021. Health insurance plan. District will increase its contributions to $7,174.89 for each eligible employee per year. This is an increase of $153.36 for the 2021 school year. So again, the health insurance plan will be completely funded by our district. They will continue to cover all of the costs and the increases for this calendar year. The FRS rate increase. The state increased the rate per employee by 1.53% for an increased contribution of $1.2 million for SRP in Pasco County schools. So again, that $1.2 million, some people may say, can we use that money for negotiations? Unfortunately, we can't. That money is specific towards to the Florida retirement system, and those monies cannot be negotiated for increases. Fingerprinting cost of $25,843 is a tad bit more than the cost. We cover that cost on a yearly basis, and that is reoccurring. Language and MOU changes. Return to school memorandum. With the coronavirus pandemic sweeping through our country and our district for that matter, the Union District agreed to discuss and putting a number of safety provisions into place for not only SRP but instructional as well. Some of these provisions included cleaning and sanitation of classrooms, cafeterias, and buses, leave time, an additional 10 days of leave time for COVID exposure, and up to an additional 20 days for subsequent exposures. Requirements for students and staff to wear masks at all times while at schools or buses. So again, let's look back at that leave time. So folks can receive an initial 10 days of leave time for COVID exposure and up to an additional 20 days for subsequent exposures. Those subsequent exposures have to be due to being in the line of duty. So someone has to be working, there has to be an outbreak at your school or some type of contact tracing that is traced to you being at work to be covered for subsequent exposures. Re-sign existing MOUs. We were able to agree with the district regarding the continuation of the Food Nutrition Service Safety Apparel MOU, the Maintenance Department Shirt Program, the SRP Workplace Committee, the Summer Food Service Program, and the SRP Compensation Committee MOUs. All of those that I've just stated will continue on in our collective bargaining agreement. Last but not least, SRP bargaining team. USCP And personally myself, I would like to thank the following members who devoted a significant amount of time into negotiations this year. There were a lot of late night 2 and 3 hour calls, a lot of debate back and forth regarding which way to go and what we thought would be in the best interest of all of our SRP. And all of these folks brought a lot to the table, and they were very selfless, and they wanted the best possible outcome for everyone. And a lot of times it's not a very easy task, right? And so there's not enough gratitude that we can show these folks, but we did want to give them a personal shout out to across the district, to everyone that sees this. If you see them, say thank you, give them a high five. And again, those people are Ed Garza, Gloria V. Ortiz, Jim Jennings, Teresa Lombardo, Phil Sullivan, Anita Dienes, Mary Ann Brini, Michelle Bird, Mona Stafford, Nilsa Cabrera Sede, Karen Zumo, and Charlotte Langlis. Again, I would like to thank everyone for all of their diligent work throughout this year's negotiations. I also want to encourage for the members that we have out there, and again to encourage those non-members. This was a very tough year of bargaining, considering the ongoing pandemic. I also want to state that without your help, it would have been even harder for us to get this done. And we have to talk to our co-workers that are not members. We have to encourage them. This settlement was a very good settlement for all. Again, for instructional, the writing was already on the wall. For SRP, there was a lot of work. There was no money allocated for school-related personnel. And USCP, through the efforts of staff and bargaining committees and members who helped out with this year's contract negotiations, we were able to secure a very favorable settlement for all SRP. And so again, I think this would be a great time for folks during their meetings at their schools, for business reps and all members, whether you're a business rep or not, to talk to those who are not members. For the non-members, this is a great year to sign up. This is a great time to sign up. Our union works for our members. Thank you.